Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. Wow. I just finished Zack Snyder's Justice League. 4 hours! And it was worth it. It was so worth it. So much more detail, so much more character moments, so much more story. Oh my God. I think it's obvious at this point that Justice League, the theatrical cut, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. I think HBO Max is still showing the theatrical cut. Take it off the service. This is Justice League, not that other thing. Oh my God. Clearly, superior version. Clearly. What I was starting to notice, and I think it was kind of obvious when you watch the theatrical cut, which I don't recommend that anymore. Watch this. But if you were to watch it again, as I was watching Zack Snyder's Justice League, I started to notice that there was particular scenes that when Joss Whedon came in to do the freaking reshoots and everything, they were looking at particular scenes that Zack had shot, and they were using those to make the theatrical cut work. Yes, it didn't work, but they were doing that, and it's like when you watch the theatrical versions of these scenes and compare it to what Zack shot, oh my God, what were they thinking? Holy shit. There were so many things in this film they could have used in the theatrical cut and made it better. Not on this level, because this is exactly what Zack shot. This is not a mismatch of two different people working on the project. This is Zack's version. But still, there was things they could have done to make that version better, because there were so many things they could have used, but I'm so glad that version failed, so this version could come out and succeed. I gotta start off by saying that I think Steppenwolf, the design, of course, is far superior on the theatrical cut, but he had so much more depth. You actually understood his character motivation and what exactly he's doing and why he's here. Besides the mother boxes, you understand why he's running around and not in Apocalypse with everybody else. You understand now. And you see because he puts the fear in others, you see the fear being put into him, like, oh, fuck. Because Darkseid's in the movie, and Desaad and Granny Goodness, oh my God, there's, Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. I am behind that 100% because I'm telling you, this film is leading into so much more. More than just, the original arc that Zack had planned, the two other Justice League movies. There are so many things they could do with this. As an Elseworld situation, there's so many things they could do with it. Superman. I was about to say Henry. That's the actor. Superman coming back definitely was much more impactful here. Not even talking about the mustache thing. I'm just talking about just in general, his return and the build up to it. And then, of course, him being resurrected by the mother box and burying it. Or so much more going on in that. Okay, I'm not going to get into too many specifics because if you haven't seen it yet, I want you to understand the context of the difference between what the theatrical cut did of bringing him back versus what this did. There's a lot more going into it. And the build-up. The action is so much better in this film. It's miles better. There were some moments, I'm like, why did they not use that? They could have used it. They could have used it. But they didn't. They were scared. And look, and here's the thing. There are people who are not hardcore Zack Snyder fans who are pushing for this cut, who have seen it, that are enjoying the hell out of it because it's so much better. If they would have put out, say, a 2.5 to 3 hour version in the theaters and then put out a director's 4-hour cut, just like BVS, 2.5 hours, which that version definitely could have been reworked better to be 2.5 hours. But then the Ultimate Edition came out and it was so much better. They could have done the same thing here and it would have, they could realistically cut this down to about 3 hours or so. 2.5, 2:45, 3 hours, and still make it work. But when you see this version, it's so much better. But still, they could have, but they're stupid. There is a moment in this film during the final fight I could not believe they cut. There's multiple, but I'm just saying there is one particular moment that is so like, holy shit. We had heard about it. I was like, I guess it's coming, and I just completely forgot, and then it happened. I'm like, oh my God. And there's other things as well. I don't want to get into specifics just in case people who are watching this have not seen it yet, and they kind of want to see how it all unfolds as is. I'm blown away. I'm blown away. Now, I watched this in segments. I didn't watch it all the way through. You can watch it however you want. But I love the fact that there are parts or chapters, if you will, where there are breaks where it's like part 1, part 2, part 3, and then the epilogue. Like, there's moments where you can pause it and go, okay, boom, okay, take a break, go do something. And it's fine because it still goes. It still flows and everything's fine. Some people have talked about the runtime, saying it's too much and there's stuff they could have cut out of this. I'm fine with it being the way it is on a streaming service because it has everything that he shot. Now, is there stuff maybe that he didn't include here that he did shoot? Maybe. I don't think so, because, I mean, he said, this is the Snyder Cut. This is what I shot. And the aspect ratio people talk about, too, saying, well, it's just a box. Well, it shows more. It's not cutting off at the top and bottom. You're seeing more of the picture. You're seeing what was shot in the camera, basically. The pacing, too. So when people were bringing that up, saying the pacing is kind of slow in bits. I feel like those slower moments are so more impactful because Lois Lane stuff, some of that stuff is slow in terms of like, not a lot's happening here, but it's the emotional weight of the fact of what happened in BVS and how that's still affecting her. They cut a lot of that crap. It's not crap. You get my point. They cut a lot of that out to kind of cut down the runtime, but like, you kind of need that a little bit for when he returns. You need that. And it was so crazy to see, like I was mentioning, certain things happening in Zack's version that they attempted a rework in the theatrical cut, and it just night and day, completely different. I'm curious of what Zack, because see, those storyboards that came out of his original vision years ago, before everything changed with him rewriting Justice League, I'm curious to see what the idea is now. What is the sequel? I don't know. There's many ways he can go about it, but my guess is some of the stuff's going to stay in there in terms of what he wanted to do. But this movie was fantastic in many ways. There's a lot of things I could talk about. The story is just so much, the way the story is told here is just so much better because there's more context. There's more moments to flesh out the story where it's not just like get to the point, get to the end, you know. And the reshoots were so noticeable in the theatrical cut. Here, everything seems pretty seamless. Some people pointed out some CG they felt was not great. There was maybe like 1 or 2 moments I personally noticed while watching it. I'm like, like it's not really matching the rest of the film. But it wasn't like a big thing to where I'm like, that completely takes me out of the film. I never really noticed that. But maybe if I go back and watch it again, which I will, I might notice some more stuff. But like, as I was watching, I'm just like, this is good. And the thing is too, HBO Max has been heavily promoting this thing. They could easily continue Zack's world and this Elseworlds like stories within just for HBO Max. And it would be such a selling point for the service. Now, I think this is getting an IMAX release at some point, but it's just so good. It really is. Sun's coming in. So, like I said, there's a lot of things I could talk about. Oh, Cyborg. I want to briefly mention Cyborg got so much more story in this. I'm so happy for Ray Fisher because he was heavily butchered in the theatrical cut. Like, there was so much that happened to him and his character, and basically just kept putting him on the edge of the cliff, essentially, a couple times in this movie. Very emotional stuff. I'm like, God damn. I'm so glad I got to see a lot today. There's just a lot of things that were just cut that you just can't believe was cut. You just can't believe it because you're like, why? Because as I'm watching, I'm going, why was this shit cut? Why did they do this? Who the fuck knows? They're stupid. But yeah. Thank you, Zack Snyder, for doing this. Thank you so much. Thank you, AT&T, HBO Max, for getting behind this and pushing it out. Now, all we need is the continuation of his story. We just need to see Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. And that one scene at the end there heavily sets up another thing. Ben Affleck, Batman. I don't know if any of this stuff's actually going to happen, but man, people are hoping. People are hoping. AT&T may see the light of day and go, you know what? We might have to do this. Because, I mean, a lot of people are checking this out today. It is trending like crazy. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. As Zach has said, crazier things have happened, but this film kicks ass. Like I said, there's a lot of things I could get into detail about, but I don't want to because I don't want to, just get to all this stuff and people are like, oh, I haven't seen it yet. Because there's probably some people who haven't seen it yet. But yes, if you have seen it, hopefully you watched it on HBO Max or a legal way, because that's the way to support the film and to show HBO Max and to show AT&T and all of them that you want this, you want more of this, you got to support legally. So, what did you guys think of Zack Snyder's Justice League? What are your thoughts? What were some of your highlights? What were some of your favorite moments? One last thing, the music. Holy shit, the music. Holy crap, the music was fantastic. Oh my gosh, the score was so good. Oh my god. Oh my god. And Ben Affleck's Batman, fantastic. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. Ezra Miller's Flash. Jason Momoa Aquaman. They're all good. It was awesome to see fucking Ben Affleck's Batman actually being Ben Affleck's Batman from BVS carrying over here instead of a mismatch of sometimes Zack Snyder's Ben Affleck's, Batman and then Joss Whedon's version of that Batman. It was just like, and here, yes. So anyways, done rambling, done talking. I will let you guys go. Hope you guys enjoyed the review-ish. I mean, it's a review, but I'm just rambling at this point. But anyways, talk to you guys soon. Peace out.